Well, let's take a look at what is happening in the markets, and we start off with the local bourse. And yesterday's great market rally has faltered. Of course, we have seen another round of tariffs coming through, with those being imposed from today. We still do have the heated battle between the US and China going tit for tat. Additional tariffs being imposed by the US on Chinese imports into the US, those standing at 104%. And the reciprocal tariffs now imposed by China on US imports is standing at 84%. Looking at the oil share sinking by more than 2% on the day, that largely coming from the financial 15 that has turned around significantly there, nosediving more than 4.5%. We do have the industrial 25 shedding almost 2.5%. But backing that overall trend with a significant gain there of almost 2.5% is the resources 10 complex. Let's take a look at what is happening in the U.S. markets. And of course, within the chaos of the tariffs, a number of companies coming out and talking about their concerns over their earnings. Of course, we did have earlier on this week JP Morgan really saying that they are concerned about rising prices and a likely recession. And then today we had Walmart and Delta Airlines talking about concerns for demand and therefore pulling back on their earnings forecasts. But looking at those markets in the green, extending the gains that we had seen yesterday, the tech-heavy Nasdaq climbing more than 1%. We do have the S&P 500 eking out a gain of almost 0.5%, and the Dow climbing by more than 0.25%. Let's take a look at what is happening with the markets across the Atlantic, and that negative sentiment that we are seeing on the JSE and that we saw on the Asian markets filtering through to those markets as well. CAC 40 leading in those losses, shedding almost 3.5%. The FTSE 100 nosediving almost 3%, and the DAX down by almost a similar margin. Let's take a look at what is happening on the currency scene and start off with how the rand is doing against some of the major currencies. Significant weakness on the rand, now getting closer to that 20 rand level against the US dollar at 19 rand 83, against the pound at 25 rand 33, and against the euro at 21 rand 92. Let's take a look at the other currency pairs, starting off with the euro dollar at 1.1, pound dollar at 1.27, and the yen actually strengthening against the US dollar just below 145 against that currency.